Look closely at this. A tiny, unassuming sphere, no bigger than a pea. Most of us probably don't give it a second thought, maybe a quick twist of the grinder, a sprinkle on our food, and we move on. But what if I told you this humble peppercorn, this ubiquitous black pepper, is arguably the single most influential spice in human history? That it didn't just season our meals, but seasoned our entire world. We're talking empires rising and falling, bloody wars fought, vast oceans crossed, continents discovered, and fortunes amassed, all for this tiny, dried fruit. This isn't just a story about food, it's a story about power, greed, adventure, and how a single spice quite literally built the world as we know it. So, what made black pepper so uniquely desirable? It wasn't just its kick. Imagine a time before refrigeration, before preservatives, before the global distribution networks we have today. For centuries, pepper was crucial for masking the taste of less than fresh meat and acting as a mild preservative. But it was also a status symbol, a medicine, and even a form of currency. The Romans, for example, were obsessed with it. They called it black gold. Pliny the Elder, the Roman naturalist, famously complained about the immense sum spent on pepper, draining the empire's wealth. He said, "There is no year in which India does not drain from us 50 million sesterces." 50 million sesterces. That's an astronomical amount, mostly for pepper, which arrived from the faraway Malabar coast of India. Think of it like today's crude oil, a vital, high-demand commodity that dictated geopolitical strategy. The journey from India to Rome was long and perilous, traversing deserts, mountains, and treacherous seas, passing through the hands of countless middlemen. Each leg of the journey added to its mythical allure and, crucially, its price. By the time it reached Europe, it was literally worth its weight in gold. Fast forward to the Middle Ages. Europe was in a frenzy for spices, and pepper remained king. It wasn't just the wealthy who coveted it, even common folk scraped together coins for a few peppercorns. Rent was paid in pepper, dowries included pepper, and cities like London even had pepper skills. But here's the catch: the overland routes from the east were increasingly controlled by Arab and Ottoman traders, who brought the spices to the Mediterranean. And guess who controlled the Mediterranean? The Italian city-states, especially Venice. Venice became the undisputed gateway to Europe for all things spice. They had a near monopoly, buying from Eastern merchants and then selling to the rest of Europe at exorbitant prices. Imagine a digital age where one company controlled access to the entire internet. That was Venice with spices. Their incredible wealth, their ornate palaces, their powerful navy, much of it was built on the back of this tiny black peppercorn. For kingdoms like Portugal, Spain, and England, this wasn't just an economic nuisance, it was a strategic chokehold. They desperately needed to break the Venetian Arab monopoly. This insatiable demand, coupled with the Venetian stranglehold, was the primary engine behind the age of exploration. European monarchs weren't just curious, they were desperate for a direct sea route to the spice lands of the east, bypassing the middlemen. Enter the Portuguese. They poured immense resources into shipbuilding and navigation. Bartholomew Dias rounded the Cape of Good Hope, a monumental achievement. But it was Vasco da Gama who finally completed the journey. In 1498, after a brutal voyage, he landed in Calicut on the Malabar coast of India, the very heart of pepper production. His arrival wasn't exactly a grand welcome. The local rulers, already well-versed in global trade, were unimpressed by his trinkets. But da Gama had found it, the direct source of the world's most coveted spice. The implications were seismic. This single voyage shattered the Venetian Arab monopoly. Suddenly, pepper could be bought directly, drastically reducing its cost and making fortunes for the Portuguese crown. But this direct access also unleashed a wave of colonial ambition, as European powers began carving up the world, all driven by the desire to control trade routes and resource-rich lands. The quest for pepper led directly to the establishment of vast colonial empires. The arrival of Europeans wasn't peaceful. The Portuguese established brutal control, building fortified trading posts and engaging in fierce naval battles with local rulers and Arab fleets. They were merciless in their pursuit of the spice trade. But their dominance wouldn't last. Soon, other European powers, particularly the Dutch and the English, challenged them. The Dutch East India Company, arguably the first multinational corporation, rose to power on the back of the spice trade. They wrestled control of many spice-producing regions, often through violence and coercion. They didn't just want access, they wanted absolute monopoly. They would destroy rival crops, suppress local farmers, and establish a ruthless system of control. Entire islands were depopulated, indigenous culture suppressed, and a global economy shaped by the brutal realities of colonial exploitation, all to ensure a steady, profitable flow of spices, with pepper still at the forefront. The race for pepper, and other spices, directly spurred the building of vast, oppressive global empires that profoundly shaped the modern world. So, where does that leave our humble peppercorn today? It's no longer black gold. It's affordable, widely available, and perhaps taken for granted. But its story is a powerful reminder of how interconnected our world truly is. The pursuit of pepper forced humans to innovate in navigation, shipbuilding, and finance. It broke down old barriers and created new ones. It connected distant lands, exchanging not just goods, but also ideas, religions, and unfortunately, conflict and disease. The globalization we experience today, the ease with which goods and information travel across continents, has its roots firmly planted in the desperate desire for spices, particularly black pepper. Every time you reach for that pepper grinder, remember you're holding a tiny piece of history. A catalyst for exploration, a driver of empire, a symbol of wealth, and a testament to humanity's relentless quest for flavor and fortune. It's proof that even the smallest things can have the biggest impact. What other everyday items do you think have a hidden history this dramatic? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this journey through time fascinating, please hit that like button, share this video with a fellow history buff, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.